Hey, welcome. It's Brian, and welcome to my new series. It's called My Favorite Guitar Records. Today we are talking about Frank Zappa, and as I say in all the videos that I've done in this kind of new series I'm doing, the only caveat for doing these, it's basically 5 records with maybe a couple honorable mentions. They have to be records I actually own, and I don't know why, but I like showing the actual CD and the physical part of it and talking about it to some degree as someone who's old and needs lots of help with their memory. With Frank Zappa, these aren't necessarily in any order. They are just records that are really important to me as far as his guitar playing. I might say some of them influenced me, but I would say not very many. It's more of just a huge Frank Zappa fan. And to be honest, with Frank's music, as far as having physical copies, I think I probably close to 100 CDs of his music and probably another 20 of other people doing it and all of that. So obviously, I don't have everything, but I have quite a bit. So this one was easy to do. Some are more challenging. So, anyway, with that said, with Frank Zappa, we're going to jump in with one of my favorite records, and that is Bongo Fury. That, of course, features the incredible Captain Beefheart. I love this record. I was a Beefheart fan before I was a Zappa fan. And the first record I remember getting of Beefheart's was not Bat Chain Puller. That was close to it. Ice Cream for Crow. And that one made such a huge impact on me. And I could just really relate to his aesthetic and his approach, and kind of the words and all of that were just really deep for me. But anyway, we have a record that here that Frank and Captain Beefheart knew each other for a long time, and they did this record together. They did some stuff together that you'd find on Lost Episodes, a highly recommended, fun Frank Zappa compilation that came out right after he died that has some really cool stuff in it that if you're wanting to deep dive, to some degree, but you don't want to buy everything, that one's got some cool, unique stuff on it. Anyway, this has Muffin Man, Advanced Romance, stuff like that. Muffin Man's the one that guitar playing wise is the influence. Carolina, Hardcore Ecstasy, an incredible song. There's some cool Beefheart stuff like Dabra Cadabra that he's kind of talking over. It's like, I don't want to say poetry per se, but he's kind of got that thing. And then it's hard to read some of this. Sam with the Showing Scalp Flat Top. That's another one like that with Beefheart. And I think that might be it. There might be one other. But Man with the Woman Head. So it's just kind of a really unique record. They did this tour together. And this is right at 75, basically. And it includes some of the 75 band, but not everybody. I think it was kind of changing. George Duke, of course, my favorite player in that 70s band. The basically 73 to 75. And I think he was in the band in the around 71 or something, and went on to play with I forget who. But Bruce Fowler, trombone, Denny Wally, slide guitar, Chester Thompson, who was the drummer from probably 73 to 75 as well. Right after this is Terry Bozzio takes over on drums. So anyway, Bongo Fury, incredible record. Anyone that wants to get into Zappa and I think they have a good ear, I say start with this record. And this is, again, from that 70, I'll look and see when this one, but I think it was 74, live in Helsinki. It's the band at their best, the funniest, the tightest, just some incredible guitar solos. The Inca Rhodes guitar solo is one of my favorites of all time, and it's very uncharacteristic of Frank in a certain way, how it develops and stuff. So this has some of my favorite songs from that era. If you like Roxy and Elsewhere, I think this is a better version of that. I love Roxy for what it was, but this just is like executed amazingly well, and there's some great funny stuff on it. We of course have Inca Roads, Redunzel, Village of the Sun. I always love that song. Echidna's Arf, of You. I love that one. There's some comedy stuff. Pygmy Twilight, Idiot Bastard Son, Cheapness. So quite a few of those are on Roxy. But they have Dupree's Paradise, Approximate, Tamershi, Deween, I can never, Dog Breath Variations, Uncle Meat, Montana, and then they end with Big Swifty. So a really important record to me. And like I said, anyone that's like, hey, you got a lot of Zappa records, this has probably happened once, but I'm just saying, if someone asks me if that happens, I say this record. So if you're asking, start with this. Chungus Revenge. This was from 70, instrumental. It just got some really cool instrumental stuff on it. This period of time I also love quite a bit because we have Burnt Weenie Sandwich, Weasels Rip My Flesh, those two. Really iconic. They're kind of borderline late 60s, early 70s. And then you have Overnight Sensation kind of coming up after these. So there's that transition, but there's this and Hot Rats. They're kind of in that area. They're a couple of years apart. There's just a couple of really great guitar play, and he's playing more guitar on it. It's kind of a stripped down version of the band where he's playing the guitar quite a bit. Yeah, there's some vocals on it. I didn't mean to say it was all instrumental, but there's Transylvania Boogie. That one's great. 20 Small Cigars. That one's great. Chungus Revenge. So those are kind of the three that are actually instrumental. So not completely instrumental, but I still love the record. And I had nothing against the vocal stuff, but I love as he kind of ventured towards more instrumental music. Let's see. Again, this one kind of fits into that same area. Waka Jawaka, Big Swifty, Your Mouth. It might be just a one-shot deal. And then Waka Jawaka. And this is with horns. And there was actually a Petite. Oh, no, that's Grand Wazoo that they did the Petite tour. Let's see. A lot of George Duke on it. Sal Marquez, who got kind of fired from the sessions, I believe. Sneaky Pete Kleinau, this pedal steel player. Erroneous is the bass player. Ainsley Dunsbar plays the drums on quite a few of them. I don't know who Erroneous was, but he was also on, so the 72, this is going right into, not One Size Fits All, Overnight Sensation, and then Apostrophe. So he's right on that cusp of doing those two huge records, which I recently listened to those, and I get their value. But when I first started listening to Frank, it was basically Tinseltown Rebellion, Joe's Garage, Them or Us, that kind of era of stuff. And You Are What You Is, that one I actually love and I think still holds up. Those others I would not really revisit that much outside of Joe's Garage. And it wouldn't be till Mothers of Prevention till I really found a record. Oh no, Ship Arriving Too Late to Save a Drowning Witch. Love that one. I'm not sure what year that is. I'd have to look. I totally love that record. I forgot all about that. And then one of the ones in here we're going to talk about. Yeah, You Are What You Is and Ship Arriving Too Late. Love those records. They're just cool, iconic pieces and of music. And then after that, it kind of isn't that interesting till Jazz from Hell. And then after that, he's winding down, unfortunately, and moving, kind of shifting into making the You Can't Do That on Stage volumes, writing orchestral stuff and all of that. And so as a guitar player who loves Frank, you have to have this on your list. And now this has lots of cool things. This is basically solos taken from live performances between 76, I think there's a few, and mostly around that 80. period of time. And he, you know, it's just live solos, literally the guitar solo spliced out of, the song itself. Yeah, there's 79, 80. That looks like most of it, yes. So that 79, 80 era, which would be like Warren Cucurullo on guitar, Ike Willis, Arthur Barrow on bass, Vinnie Colaiuta on drums, which is probably the biggest component to it. Although there are a few with Terry Bozzio and that band, the Shake Your Booty band, era, Frank band, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, that record's super important because it kind of took the guitar solo and kind of framed it in a way that, as far as electric guitar solo, never framed it in this kind of isolate way. Like, it has no, outside of the underpinnings, the chordal underpinnings, the vamp underneath the solo, it's not really a song. Like, you don't hear any of the front or end of the song. So totally unique. Now, since Shut Up and Play Your Guitar came out, there's been Guitar. I haven't listened to that one in a while. And then there's Transfusion. And there's probably a couple others that I don't know about that have come out recently that I don't own. But I have those two, Guitar and Transfusion, for sure. So anyway, Frank, hugely important. And like I said in a previous video, I'm going to be pulling out really specific records and just do videos of, like, for me, one of the most iconic records. And they may not have guitar on them at all, and that's not necessarily, that's kind of just how I've always listened to stuff or whatever. But this series is talking about all the great guitar work from a certain person. And with Frank, there's a ton of it. And, you get a lot of it from Shut Up and Play Your Guitar. And I don't know too many players that love interesting music or are not trying to play just blues or something like that, like Frank, that don't love that record. So anyway, there you have it. Guitar playing on records that I love. And of course, Frank is up there in my top 5 of players of all time. So there you go. Thank you for watching. Have any suggestions, any thoughts, please in the comments. Let me know. And I'll see you soon. Thank you.